find just what I need. All I have's on my shoulders. It's getting clearer, yeah. It's getting clearer, yeah. It's getting clearer, yeah. Let's play pretend, babe. I promise I won't cheat you. This moment lasts forever. Let's give our love a ring too. Let's play pretend, babe. I promise I won't cheat you. This moment lasts forever. Let's give our love a ring too.
My life would be so shady without you. Wow. Sweet.
Moving slowly, yeah. A dreary rolling, I'm all alone. You're my one and only, babe. All I have's on my shoulders. Vision clearing, yeah. Vision clearing, yeah. Let's play pretend, babe. I promise I won't cheat you. This moment lasts forever. Let's give our love a ring too. Let's play pretend, babe. I promise I won't cheat you. This moment lasts forever. Let's give our love a ring too. In the valley, yeah. Tracing dots I can't recall. Quest to find just what I need. All I have's on my shoulders. It's getting clearer, yeah. It's getting clearer, yeah. It's getting clearer, yeah. It's getting clearer, yeah.
All right. Okay. We are live. All right. Let's see how this looks. Okay.
Okay.
So everything looks good so far. Um, all right. All right. So if anything, I'll just go back, and if it's too crazy, oh,
Okay.
it's looking crazy. It's looking good, but it's looking crazy at the same time. It's crazy. Oh man, it's looking good, but it's looking crazy. It's like it's almost there. Oh man, this is unfortunate. So, guys, unfortunately, we have De'Andrea here. Hey, and she. Oh, actually, it's kind of coming back up. All right, so we're just gonna try this interview, guys. If it's a little bit choppy, we apologize. But nonetheless, this is De'Andrea, and I'll just have her kind of introduce herself, talk a little bit about herself, and then just her journey into PT school. And we'll ask a couple questions, and then we'll get her out of here because she has to study because she's in PT school. All right.
Yes,
So,
yes,
De'Andrea,
yes.
thank you again for coming on and joining us tonight. We're just going to go through a couple things. You can just tell us your name, your date of birth, and where you're from, something interesting about yourself. You don't really have to say your date of birth. You can just say, your age and stuff like that, and then we'll just kind of get into the interview.
Okay, cool. So my name is DeAndrea Thaw. I am 26 years old. I actually attend the DPT program at the University of St. Augustine, Austin campus. And my journey is a little bit different than most people. But actually, when I was accepted into PT school, I was a personal banker for 3 years. So, yeah, that's something like a little unique about myself and my journey to becoming a physical therapist.
Okay, cool. And, I know a lot, we talked about a couple of these things off air, but we'll just kind of
Mhm.
reiterate it for the audience. What made you go into physical therapy? And also, is this something that you wanted to do since you were a lot younger?
So initially, I wanted to actually be an athletic trainer. Um, but after being an athletic trainer at Lamar University, my freshman year, I realized that wasn't for me. And then after doing further research, that's when I found physical therapy. I loved everything about physical therapy as far as the different settings that physical therapy could provide to me in my different areas of life, as far as me graduating, then becoming a mother, and things of that sort. And then I just love the just of actually helping people and making a difference. And then while I was researching physical therapy, I realized there wasn't a lot of people that looked like me. So that's what ultimately made me decide, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be a physical therapist because I want to help people. I want to make a difference in my community as far as like being a face for younger children that can say, hey, I can be a physical therapist too because I see someone who looks like me. And then also to serve in under what am I saying? To serve underdeserved
Hmm.
populations. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So you said um now in terms of your lifestyle, becoming a mother. So you're a mother now, or you're saying it will be good for when you become a mother?
I'm not a mother now.
Okay. She's not a mother now,
Not
guys.
now. I'm in PC school. I don't know how that would be, but if and when I become a
Okay.
mother, then I have that option to do a different setting, um, as far as my career goes.
Okay. And are you looking to do something like entrepreneurship, or is it something like a job where you want to go in, you want to work for somebody, and then you just want to really more family focused or more entrepreneurial focused? Which kind of one do you lead to? Because this field, of course, we know because it's a doctorate program, we have the ability to kind of go into both. So tell the audience a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I actually just want to work for a company. I'm not looking to open my own clinic. I know a lot of people that's their vision, but I don't see that for myself right now. Maybe in the future, I'll possibly say, hey, I want to have a PT clinic, but that's not my ministry right now.
For sure, for sure. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So, you going? Okay, so you were in high school, college. You graduated. You said you took 3 years out, correct? Okay,
Yes. Mhm.
so 3 years out, and then did you tell the audience what you did for work for those 3 years?
I think so. I said I was a personal
Banker,
banker.
yes. So you were in the banking industry. You were making good money, and then you say, you know what?
Good money.
I'm gonna go down this road of physical therapy. And
Hmm.
Um, for people who aren't in physical therapy school, I think for the ones who are, they do realize how much of uh, a journey it is, and particularly you
Yeah.
being in an accelerated program at the University of St. Augustine. Tell us a little bit about how that transition from going to that, banking life, working, making money, then going to kind of broke and having to study all the time. How did that transition work for you? How did that feel?
It was definitely a hard transition for me because, as you guys know, I'm not sure if you know, but University of St. Augustine, they have different start times. So I started in January, actually. So I literally quit my job at the beginning of January, top of the year. And then 3 weeks later, I started physical therapy school. It was a hard adjustment as far as me getting back into the groove of studying, um, mentally preparing myself to take tests. I haven't taken a test, and I did take a few courses over the 3 years, my gap years, but nothing as intensive as a PT program test, I guess you can say. um, but it was a hard adjustment. But I knew this is what something I wanted to do. I wouldn't say I always knew I wanted to be a physical therapist. This has been a goal of mine to become a physical therapist. So I realized, like, hey, I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for me. This is my journey right now. I just have to, keep trugging along, keep going, keep going, keep going. But it was definitely hard. But I was my own cheerleader. I'm still my own cheerleader.
Sometimes you got to
You
do
have to
that.
be your own
Sometimes you
cheerleader.
got to do that.
You do, because no one's gonna do it for you but yourself. So,
For sure.
but it was a hard shift for
For
sure.
sure. So when we were
Hmm.
talking about, so you mentioned a little bit about, of course, the working kind of shift that you had to make. But what would you say the biggest mental shift in terms of, okay, yet you're going from working, then having to do this intensive studying, but what would you say that biggest mental shift that you had to make in terms of just having to commit so much time to doing something really kind of polar opposite of what you were doing in terms of banking? Like, what was the mental shift that you had to make? I know for me, one of the biggest shifts
Hmm.
that I had to make with this process was I had a lot of interest outside of physical therapy school, and mentally I had to say, you know what, I have to cut some of this stuff off, and it was hard, because I have so many other interests in things I'm involved in, but me saying, hey, you know what, you got to sacrifice this time to get where you want to go. What would you say one of the biggest mental shifts that you had to make in making this transition to PT school? What was that?
I would say the mental shift I had to have was to know, one, why I was doing it, and my plan of doing it, and then also being really focused. Like I was telling you earlier, I deleted my apps off of social. I'm off of social media because I'm so focused on school right now. So that's one of the mental shifts you have to have. Like, yeah, you want to see your friends and what they're doing in life, and you want to you want to just see the new funny thing that's on Twitter for the week, right?
Right.
But when you're in school, you really have to, like you were saying, sacrifice that time, and you have to make that mental shift that, okay, this is no longer serving me at this point, but I know where I'm going and what I want to do and my goal. Like going into physical therapy school, everyone's goal is to graduate and pass the exam, the board exam, right? But you can't be distracted with little minute things along the way, because it can cause harm in your journey, as far as you not being able to go to the next term, or you not being able to, even finish the program. So you just have to really know your why and be very, very focused, and pretty much as well as be resilient in your journey, because it can be hard. It's going to be hard.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned friends. That's an interesting one. I want to know. So
Yeah, let's
your
have
friends, I
them.
guess, that you maintain now.
Hmm.
What was their response? Of course, because you probably have less time to go on the trips like we were talking about, or maybe even just
Yeah.
do chat. Just hey, calling them up and stuff like that. How did your friends take that once you made this commitment to PT school? Were they supportive? Did you see some people kind of start to fade out, or was it just, hey, everybody's doing their thing? I know you were talking about a lot of your friends are, really kind of out there and professional. So was that easier for them to understand, or did you find some of them were a little bit like, wow, this person's kind of changing, maybe a little different, how that is?
No, I would say all of my friends were supportive because they knew the journey that I was going through. So even though I took a 3 year, or yeah, 3 years to get into PT school, or to be attending a PT program, I actually applied twice into to try to get into a PT program. So along the way, they were very encouraging. They always, actually, one of my friends, she would say, when is application cycle opening? When are you going to apply? How many schools are
Good.
you applying to? Like, she was holding me accountable. She was holding my feet to the fire. She said, I know this is what you want to do, so we're going to do it. Like, she was my partner. She would help me study for the GRE exam,
Oh,
things of that
nice.
nature. Like, all my friends were very encouraging. And actually today I kind of caught up with a few of my friends, and it's no malice at all. They know I'm going through school, so I can't really be there for the weekly gossip of what's going on,
Yeah.
But they know my heart, and when you have a good friendship, I don't think you being in PT school will kind of destroy that.
No,
So
good,
yeah.
good, good. So they were supportive. That's good. No, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Because I've had, I've heard rather, situations where, whether it was friendships, relationships, or whatever, once people hit some of these programs, whether it's PT school, OT school, medical school, dental school, PA school, whatever, or someone just takes on a business venture, because with this platform, like I said, I'm not necessarily only trying to promote physical therapy. I just want to promote, success of our people in general, and, not only in the route of school, but in the route of different routes. And even if we do go to school, like, okay, what are some other ways that we can, use this and leverage this degree, in order to really just be a positive example to the people who are behind us, and then also leave an impact on the short time that we're here. So that's good. All right. So you said apps, okay, having to delete those and things like that. Um,
Hmm.
what would you say, so you delete your apps, how would you say that's affected your productivity? Like, do you see a significant increase in it? And then also, I'm going to do a double pair with that.
Okay.
Do you do anything to track? So like when I was in PT school, I used an app called Flora that actually shut down my phone, and it basically tracked my hours, so I was able to quantify and measure. With deleting these apps, do you feel like you, one, are way more productive, and two, do you use an app to actually calculate the time that you study?
Okay, so one, I didn't know there was an app that I can
I got
use
you. I
to
got you.
like, yes, tell me more. But I did realize my productivity went up instantly once I deleted Instagram, once I deleted Facebook. Because, like I was telling you before, I would sit on those apps for hours, just scrolling. Sometimes I would even go to the top and refresh it, like, okay, I need some new stuff. Like, show me some new stuff.
That
Um,
dopamine hit.
but the
Yeah.
But yeah, so once I deleted those, I became super focused. It's like I had tunnel vision because, in a sense, when you're off of those apps, you know you're supposed to be studying. When you're not studying, you're like, I should be studying, you know? So, yeah, my productivity went up instantly, I would say. And it has helped me a lot. And it showed with my grades, comparing my first exam to my second exams, or second set of exams. So it really has helped me a lot. I mean, if you're that type of person, because everyone's different.
Oh, okay.
So,
So you started this deleting thing. You didn't come into PT school like I'm taking my apps out. So you kind of did this once you got in.
yes,
Oh,
once I got in. So I didn't do it like first day I'm deleting my apps. No, I was still on there for a few months, and then I was like, okay, I need to delete this stuff because I'm always on here scrolling. So that's kind of how that
right.
went.
So you said you are first term, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you started in the summer. Okay,
Hmm.
interesting. Did you and this is actually
No,
something that
so I started in January. So I'm what you would call a rainbow student
okay, what's that?
at the University of St. Augustine. So my first year, I had a full course load. Until now that summer term, I'm not taking as many classes. So I'm what you call a rainbow
Okay.
student.
Okay,
So yeah.
gotcha. Cool, cool. Now, did you know when you applied to St. Augustine, it was an accelerated program, one, and then two, what was some of your criteria? And I'll let you know some of mine, but what were some of your criteria? Because when I was applying to PT school, I had literally made a spreadsheet, a list, and I need this, this,
Mhm.
this, this, this. And of course, you rank the schools based on this, and you get into where you
Mhm.
can. But what would say your top 5 criteria? And then you can tell yours, and I'll name mine. For applying or getting into a PT program.
Okay. So I did know that University of St. Augustine was an accelerated program, and that was a reason why I wanted to
Hmm.
go because I was trying to get done with PT school quick, fast, in a hurry.
Okay.
Um, but my criteria, I knew I wanted to be in. Are you talking about as far as my own personal requirements?
Oh yeah, yeah, your own personal. So like, what was
Okay,
what
okay.
was what sold
So
you on a school? So for me, for example, one of the things I looked at was location. That was huge.
yes. So location was a thing for me. Um, Definitely how far it was from my hometown, which I'm from Houston, Texas. The amount of time, and then also the GPA, things of that sort, where I was able to get into the program. So if it met I guess, um, my grade, my GPA
Right.
requirement, and then also that was really it. I would say cost, but then I end up going to the University of
The
St.
most
Augustine,
expensive.
the most expensive school. I would say cost, but that would be like that's laughable.
Yeah,
But yeah, so those are my things. It was cost. Put a little asterisk on the side of that. Location, if I met their requirements, and that's pretty much it.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. So I'll just let the audience know kind of how I ranked mines. Mine's one thing was, of course, I needed to know the deadline because I've the first time I applied to PT school, I kind of was a little bit late. So I wanted to know the deadline. I wanted to know how fast I had to apply. I wanted to know the average GPA to get in, and then also not the
Yeah.
average GPA that gets in, but what people don't a lot of the times think about is what is required to stay in. Okay, that's where I
Okay.
got caught at Hampton. For example,
Mm,
Hampton University, in order to stay in there, you have to have a B, and a B is not an
yes.
80. A B is an 84. Okay, and then there was a school. And it was weird with Hampton, right? So there was a school right down the road, Old Dominion University or ODU, right? We had an adjunct professor that taught anatomy and she taught neuroscience at Hampton, and then she also taught at ODU. And the thing about it is, you could be literally at Hampton, same test. She would try to keep us on the same schedule. I remember, being at Hampton the first time. I got in my anatomy, I got an 82.5. right? I finished off. So that actually counted against me. And what happens is, this is a lot of things that people don't, and I'm open about this because, I've taken a lot of L's with the, PT school and stuff like that. And, so it's a learning lesson. It's not important just to get in. It's what do you need to stay in? Because if I was at ODU, I would have been okay. Remember, we're having the exact same teacher, the exact same test, right? But because I was at Hampton, that actually counted 6 credits against me. So that 82.5 for me, and they rounded it up to 83, but it still wasn't 84. It was actually 81.5, excuse me, an 81.5. That 82, which they would have taken it as, that would have been okay at ODU, but because we were at Hampton, it wasn't, that wasn't the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think you might have got muted.
Am I
Okay,
muted?
good. You're good now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was one of the things to stay in, okay, average GPA, because you're putting out a lot of money into this, and people just be like, "Oh, I'm going to apply to everywhere." And no. You got to be strategic, because when you're paying these application fees and these secondary fees, it's not about just, throwing up hope and being like, "Hey, I'm going to yes, you have to have, this is a process of faith and all that type of stuff, but you also have to be a little strategic, right?" So I was looking at the GPA to get in and stay in, and this is something I learned the second time. I was looking at what was my minimum GPA, my minimum GRE score, okay? So the quantitative, qualitative, and writing. Some schools have a minimum. If you don't meet that minimum, I'm not saying don't apply, but call the school up and say, how hard is this requirement, because that's something that I didn't want to just spend, $100-something on an application and, not even apply or require, qualify for it. I also looked at the location. I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. I didn't want to be out too far, even though a lot of my places have taken me out a little bit further, but it is what it is. And then the board pass rate. What does the board pass rate look like? Because a lot of people that MPTE in some schools, they don't tell you both. They'll just tell you the board pass rate overall. What is the first, if you can know the first time pass rate, ask them. If they don't have that, they'll just give you overall average. If the person's take it 1 or 2 times, they just average it together. And then also, what are the requirements in terms of your shadowing and then your letters of recommendation? Can you get all those letters of recommendation, especially if you've been graduated from college from a while and there's specific professors, like, you need an academic advisor. Do you have academic advisors that were there? Do you have certain people that were there that you can still get in contact with? Do you have enough physical therapists that can vouch for you and write you a good letter of recommendation? Because recommendations, I believe, just based on my GPA, I believe that recommendations can go a long way, because I had a pretty good, and one of the physical therapists is a family friend, that I worked with and I shadowed, so recommendations are important. Anyway, those are my 5. Yeah.
Those are really good. Look, I was just like, hey, who will accept me? No, but yeah, those are really good things to look at for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Be very strategic in your plan.
For sure. So, De'Andrea, I'll ask you, what right now would you say, your first semester, or just, whatever you're taking right now, what would you say that your hardest class, being in physical therapy thus far, what would you say your hardest class was?
I think this is everyone's hardest class, but gross anatomy.
Really?
You'll hear it all the time. For me, gross
anatomy
not
patho?
Was my hardest. Not patho. Surprisingly, I did pretty well in patho. Oh, wow. But it was gross anatomy. Now, I would say that it depends on your professors. It depends on your learning style, things of that nature. So when I actually was taking, like I said, I was I'm coming out of working, right? So I'm like, oh, gross anatomy, I already took that. I know the bones, I know the muscles, things of that nature. And then I get to my first test and I'm like,
oh, shoot.
What? Like, yeah. So I would definitely say gross anatomy has been my hardest class so far.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm a little bit biased because I already had it. But,
okay.
I mean, patho, for me, And it could also be the school too, because I know they try to keep our curriculums pretty similar in terms of the St. Augustine. Because I've talked to some people at Dallas. I had a friend graduate from Austin recently, and he just passed his board, and I'll actually have him on here as well, because there's gonna be people we're talking about who are done. They're studying for boards, and then there's gonna be people who will have actually opened up practices. There's a guy I met that opened up a PT practice, and now he's coming back to become a physical therapist. So he did it like the reverse. He got his business, and then he's coming back. So that's interesting. So but that's kind of where that was. So patho. So patho. Would you say patho maybe was your second?
Yes, patho was my second. But we had a really great professor for patho. She was very straightforward, straight shooter. So, yeah. It wasn't patho. It was definitely gross. But I think it was because the amount of time I was out of school. But there's a really cool app called Complete Anatomy.
Yeah, everybody has it.
Oh, that has saved me. That has literally saved me. But yeah, but I'm doing way better now in the class.
Good. Okay. So De'Andrea, we got to know a little bit about you, and guys, the audience, I just want to say thank you to De'Andrea. She's kind of stuck in with me when I was doing a lot of this, technical stuff or whatever. So I'm not going to hold her too long. She got to go study, but I'll just ask her this last little question here. So if you saw someone, they came up to you and they said, hey, you know what? I'm going to PT school. I'm thinking about whatever. What is some advice that you would give them from when they started college, right? And then advice you would give them once they got to physical therapy school, And of course, you're going through your process, so it's going to be advice that's, of course, relative to, to what you're kind of doing now.
So if they're in college and they come to me, I would say definitely have a plan and do observation hours. I think my observation hours is what solidified my decision to become a PT, because you can always say, hey, this is what I want to do, but when you're in their shoes, helping the patients, wiping down tables, things of that nature, kind of being a mini PT tech, that's when you can really see if you really want to do physical therapy. So I would just say do observation hours, get a great mentor, and have a plan. I know that's what helped me. I had a plan. I kind of stuck to it. Sometimes my plan didn't go like I wanted to, but you have to learn how to readjust. But then the person who is in PT school or beginning PT school is some advice is you have to do it for yourself. If you're not doing it for yourself, don't do it at all. You can't do it for your parents. You can't do it for your friends. You can't do it for the person who said, hey, I think you should be a PT. You're really nice and you'll be really good at helping patients. Like, no, you have to know you're doing it for you, because at the end of the day, when you're taking those exams, when you're studying, you're the only person there. No one else can take your exam for you.
For sure.
So just know you're doing it for yourself and your why. I know people say that all the time. You got to know your why. But you really do, because when it gets hard, when you want to just give up, you have to know why you're doing it. So that would be my advice to those people.
Sure. Good stuff. All right, so I got one more little fun question. This is going to be would you rather, okay? I didn't send you this one, but it's going to be PT.
You did not.
Now, it's not going to be anything crazy, guys. Not going to be anything crazy. It's still kind of PT related. So would you rather have 4 tests / practical every 2 weeks? Okay, so 4. Think about it. 4 tests / practical every 2 weeks. You are getting hit with 4 tests. Okay, every 2 weeks. Okay, or have a test / practical every single week from week 1 to week final. Well, of course, finals week you probably have more tests, but from week 1 to the week right before finals, you have 1 test every single week, or you have 4 tests / practicals. It could be a mixture of both every 2 weeks.
I would say I want a practical / test every week.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But keeps you on your toes?
Keeps me on my toes. Yeah. But no, 4
Uh-huh.
in one
Yeah.
week or every 2 weeks?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no, 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 no,
That would be
no,
too
no, no, no,
much.
no.
Okay, okay.
That would be too
I got
much.
you. I got you. I got you. Sounds good. All right, well, guys, I appreciate, like I said, DeAndrea coming, Miss DeAndrea Thaw. All right, and I'm gonna give her the closing statements if she has any last words. I'm gonna plug her email. As you guys can see, she's chilling on social media right now. We're gonna let her just live, and we want her to do well. So I understand 100% about cutting off social media. So what I'll do, if anybody has any questions or anything like that, you see the interview, you come back, feel free to shoot her an email. She's been very nice with communicating with me, and then also I'm pretty sure she'll do the same with you guys, unless you're not nice to her. So yeah. Do you got any last thoughts, DeAndrea? Anything that you might want to say to the audience before we close out?
Well, one, I want to say thank you for
For
having
sure.
me. It's been fun. It's been a fun little Taco
Oh yeah.
Tuesday. But my last thoughts would be to, if you're thinking about doing physical therapy, just do it. Just do it. Just do it for the right reasons, though. And then, like he said, if you have any questions, you can always just drop them down in the comment section of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe to his
Hey.
channel. But yeah, if you definitely have questions, you can always email me or comment down below. But that's pretty much it.
Okay, great. All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining. I've seen a couple people pop in and out. We're going to be doing another one of these on Thursday. So until then, we will see you guys. And we are signing